Hey, this is Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky, and this is Matt Chat. Today's topic is some coaching philosophy. So, I'm going to give you a little insight into the way I coach. I coach from the general to the specific, from the general to the detailed. So I work with the big picture and then kind of move my way down into the specifics. So let me expand on that a little bit. A sculptor doesn't start by chiseling out the fine details of the eyeballs. They get the basic form down, and then they gradually refine it until we have some beautiful sculpture. The same way with a painter, they make the broad brush strokes, and they come back in and they fill in the detail. So when I have a new student that comes in, I don't want to overwhelm them with technical details. Okay, I want them to get the basic idea down as quickly as possible. Tactically, like what are they supposed to do? Maybe they don't know the best way to do it or the most efficient way, but if a person is in reasonable control of their body and has a slight bit of athleticism, and some people are more or less fit this bill more or less, then they can sort of invent ways to do things that end up being some version of a technique that you're going to show them anyway. And so you can figure out which way they naturally move and then kind of steer them towards those types of maneuvers. So let me give you an example. I have two people. I don't require everybody who comes in the first day to spar, roll, whatever. They can watch. Our beginner program has a lot of drills in it that are very specific, so it's not free rolling. We might do a couple of rounds of free rolling for 3 to 5 minutes in the beginner class. Sometimes we don't. The reason I do this is because I want to get people familiar with the positions. So a lot of people get overwhelmed as to, you say, okay, I want you just to grapple. Well, there's a lot of people that grew up in the backyard just wrestling with their siblings or friends or whatever, and that's fine with them. They wrestle. They're just going to get out there and scrap, and they kind of know what they're doing. And then there's some people that don't know that. They've never had that upbringing. So I give some basic instructions. Number one, if you're on top, and I tell them, try to put the person on their back and try not to get stuck between their legs. So basically put them on their back and get clear of their legs. Try to put your chest on their chest and pin them down, staying out of their legs. Okay? So that's the first instruction. The second one is, if you get put on your back for whatever reason, then you either want to wrap them up with your legs, or you want to get away and get back to your knees or your feet. So that's the second thing. The third thing is always stay facing your opponent. So we're not going to turn our backs on our opponent because that gives them an advantage. So the three basic instructions: if you're on top, you want to be anywhere but stuck between their legs. If you're on your back, you want to get up as quickly as possible and not get stuck between their legs. If you are spinning into, if you're scrambling, you want to avoid turning your back. Okay, so three basic things. So, and most people can deal with that. They don't do submissions. I don't care about submissions yet. I just want basic mat positioning and ability, and then you can come around and give them some pointers on things. You're turning your back a lot. Let's try to focus on staying this way. When you go to your back, what do you need to be doing? You can prompt them to start trying to get the guard, to develop the rudiments of guard, and then once you start to teach the techniques, you're going to notice that if you put two people together and you say, okay, this person, I want you to get around his legs, they're going to naturally do some version of one of the following things. They're going to either throw the legs to the side, they're going to jump over them, or they're going to climb through them. So you can go around, over, or through the guard. And if they succeed, they probably did some version, however inefficient, of an actual technique. And all you have to do is to figure out how then you can take what they did and make it just a little bit better. So say, hey, give them some positive feedback. That was really good, but if you do this, it would work even better. And they're like, so they get positive feedback, plus some positive coaching, and the next time it's even better. And this is kind of how I approach the new beginner class. If you tell them every conceivable detail early on, they shut down. They can't remember all that stuff. So we want to focus on the big picture, the things that have to be done to make it work properly, and then the minor details and the really intricate stuff that make the technique super solid are going to be for intermediate and advanced students. And so they're really learning the same kinds of things. They're just learning, the beginner doesn't know the arm bar, so they're learning how to apply the arm bar, the basic mechanics of it, whereas the intermediate to advanced student is learning how to perfect and to set up the arm bar with different other techniques and positions. And so that's our basic coaching philosophy here. We move from the general to the specific. We don't give a whole bunch of random tools and then say here, and then the person's left with, well, where do these fit into my toolbox? We try to give them the toolbox, and we give them a roadmap and say, okay, you're going to go from point A to point B, and there's going to be some obstacles along the way. Here's some things that can help you get over those obstacles. Whenever you get to an obstacle that's insurmountable, then we're going to sit down and have a discussion about how you can get around that, what kind of technique you can use. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and like this video, share it with your friends. This has been Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy, Frankfort, Kentucky, reminding you to train hard, train smart, and train often. See you next time.